Good morning and happy Sunday. Nope, not Sunday, Saturday, everyone. Sorry that we're just a couple minutes late. We were having a fun conversation behind the scenes. We're going to probably mention that later on in this episode too. So, welcome again to another morning episode of the UltraCast. I am the kind of ringleader, as always, the Ultra American TTRPGer, the Jim Jones of Classic Gaming, and everyone's favorites, Aryan Tiefling. And I'm always here joined. Got two of my buddies with me. You got the one, the only. We got Duskwill.
You only had one job and you screwed it up, man. How you doing, everybody?
And as always, we also got more Hawkman.
Heyo. This is going to be an interesting one because, oh boy.
It's going to feel like a long one.
Yeah, but first and foremost, before we get into anything, it is with a sad heart that we did lose two Hollywood legends today. First off, yesterday, we lost the myth, the legend, Chuck Norris himself. He finally allowed death to take him off the train, God's army in heaven.
It was weird, though, is that apparently the day before he was just working out and was perfectly fine. The next day, he's just dead. So I'm thinking maybe like heart attack or stroke or something.
I haven't seen it, like what caused it. And then I forgot his name, but I saw early this morning that one of the main actors from Buffy the Vampire Slayer also passed away, and he was only in his 50s.
What the hell?
It was. I'll have to look up the name again. What his name?
How old was Chuck?
Chuck was at 86.
You know what? Fair enough. That's a good amount of years.
Yeah, Buffy the Vampire Slayer cast. I saw his name, and then as when I was trying to remember, I slipped my mind. Yeah, Nicholas Brendan. Nicholas Brendan dies at 54.
I mean, like, to be fair, while working out is like healthy for you, if you do a lot, which a lot of action movie stars do a hell of a lot, it can wear and break your body bound at a faster rate. So I'm actually surprised he went that long.
Yeah. So it's like everyone was, and of course, like as usual with Chuck Norris's death, you got a lot of people on Reddit just being like, "Oh, I'm glad he's dead," all because he didn't agree with their opinions, as the lefty libtards like to do.
Oh, can you be a leftist without celebrating someone's death?
Here's one for I'm genuinely curious about. One of the people that I saw mentioning this is like, oh yeah, he's dead. I mean, I guess it sucks that he was a bigot, but it's sad that he died. I'm like, what are you talking about? Why are you calling him a bigot? What on earth?
And then the Nicholas Brendan one kind of feels a little harsher because there was rumor. I guess they were supposed to be a Bunny the Vampire Slayer revival in the works, and then the main actress herself, Sarah Gellar, came out and said that it got axed.
Damn.
Yeah, and I never watched Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but I've always heard good things about it, and I know it's like a lot of people when it comes like when they do like modern supernatural stuff and like RPGs. Buffy the Vampire Slayer is one they kind of like base a lot of stuff on.
I only watched like a couple of episodes of it. I was more of a fan of the Angel spinoff.
I never saw that one either.
It's pretty good. I like Angel.
Yeah, there were a few licensed Buffy Vampire Slayer RPGs that were loved and were well loved by many of those in the hobby as well. So,
the Mythoverse people, when we were trying to figure out what games to play to base our own tabletop role playing game off of, the Buffy the Vampire Slayer one was on the docket, but we kind of went away from it because for one, it wasn't using the percentile system which we are thinking of using, and two, the book just has a lot of Josh Whedonism in it. You gotta like translate it to actually make it workable.
Instead of High Gygaxian, it's High Weedian.
High Weedian.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah,
but yeah, I remember like I didn't.
One thing I would like to say about Buffy the Vampire Slayer is that the TV series is technically based on a movie, and the movie was, to my understanding, written by someone else completely. and that if you pay close attention to the movie after having watched the series, you will pick up on things where it's like, "Oh, this didn't actually mean the same thing in the original movie, did it? Hmm."
That's interesting.
Yep.
It
And
it
I didn't
it
watch a lot of Chuck Norris movies, but I remember when I got into my later teen years, there was a TV channel we had that actually did reruns of Walker Texas Ranger. And I remember watching
mm.
it like crazy.
Walker
My
Texas
my
Ranger was
granddad used to watch that a lot.
Walker Texas Ranger was a series that would actually hit on several like social issues in a way that wasn't, in your face, too close to reality sort of thing, but mentioning why it's a problem and not necessarily telling you what to think about it, but showing you both sides of the issue. Because like he had an entire episode about Mexican illegal border crossing stuff that went deep into the weeds on it. Because like you have this one guy in there who's a bad guy who's just shooting people crossing the border just for being Mexicans, doing it more because he likes shooting Mexicans than because they're actually illegals. But also in the same episode, you find out that the reason why Walker was at that location looking into border crossing stuff was because of narcotics being pushed across the border, and that he was trying to find the people pushing the narcotics. And you have this other guy who's just shooting random people. It's just very strange.
Hmm. So we lost a couple of other good Hollywood actors. We are losing a lot of like basically. I think Chuck Norris was kind of marks like the last of a good generation of actors that we had in Hollywood. But now all we have left is people like freaking Sabrina Carpenter and the blackballed chick, whatever her name is, the one that looks like a demon.
Cynthia Erivo.
Yeah, and then who else was I thinking of?
Actually, one thing someone pointed out to me about Cynthia Erivo is that before she made it big, she was actually less hideous looking. And something she did, some people claim that they think she's been taking Ozempic despite not needing it due to not being overweight, and that it's going back to the whole like anorexic chic thing that Hollywood used to do back in the day, and why the whole like healthy body type thing became a trend. Because I remember that from like 80s and 90s. It's like you would have these Hollywood stars that were like forcibly starving themselves to lose weight when they were already at a healthy body weight, and now they were being unhealthy by being underweight. We seem to be
Well,
going
at
back
least
to
we
that.
still got at least we still got Arnold, who's been kind of a voice of reason once in a while.
Yeah, when he wants to be. Yeah, I never really cared for him much as a politician, but he is a good actor. And still, it's like, and again,
Well,
my favorite movie from him is one that's not even one of those action-oriented ones. So,
well, I have to say, Arnold as the governor did a better job than the current one.
I mean, it's not a high bar, to be perfectly honest.
This is true,
That
but
like you and Arnold, like looked at news was like, "What the hell are you doing, man?"
yep. Oh, hold on. I see we got someone already. Yep. It's just we got my ear trumpet just hiding out in the chat, and oh wow, I didn't realize you were that much older. My ear trumpet. I thought you were kind of younger. But yep. So yeah, but since we're kind of talking about like health and all that, there's there's a reason why the show is titled "My Neck, My Back," because hold on to your horse for this one because this one's gonna be a doozy. So, as many of you as you guys probably remember, about 2-3 weekends ago, I woke up with excruciating back pain that basically just sucked everything out of me. I went to work on Tuesday, still had the pain. They sent me out early, told me to get taken care of and don't come back until I do. So I I go into like a chiropractor that same day. They looked me over. they kind of have me. They stretch and twist me around and all that jazz, and they do X-rays on me, and they see something in my where my pain area was. They thought I may have had something there, so they scheduled me to come in on Thursday to see, because it's connected to like a actual like doctor clinic as well, to see their PCP. I go for the PCP on Thursday. They have me do a urine test and they do a blood draw on me because they didn't have blood work on file for me, so they took blood. Which, for some reason, after they did the blood draw on me, I had a bruise on where they drew the blood for like 2 weeks, which I've never had happen before on any sort of blood draw when they stuck for it. So I thought that was weird. And apparently, even though, like, again, it never hurt, even though I had no urine like pain or anything, apparently there was a trace amount of blood in my urine for them to maybe worry about me having kidney stones.
Ooh.
Yeah. So possibly their now hypothesis is I had a large kidney stone like in that area where I was feeling a lot of the pain, and that's why. And it was basically that was what's causing all the back pain. It's just having that pain there from the kidney stone. Now after this is when it starts to really start to go off the rails, because they tell me they're going to have someone reach out to me to schedule for a CT scan. Now when I didn't hear from a call over the next couple of days, I call back and asked who they sent the order to, and they said to a place called Mana, is like Mana Health Solutions or something like that. We contact them. They said they got me and my dad, because my dad helps me out with a lot of this stuff because he's big into health sales and all that. He's done it for years, so he knows the lingo. He knows how the game is played, and that will come into context as I go into the story later.
Oh boy.
So we call Mana, reach out to them. They have the order, but they won't be able to schedule me for up to 2 weeks out. And I only have taken took leave off work for 2 weeks, counting the week that this all started. So we call around, and we were able to get Amanda to forward the order to Mercy, because there's one locally not too far from where I live, and they got me in like the following Monday. So scheduled for like 2:00 on Monday. I actually get there early. They get me in early, and I'm in and out in 20 minutes.
That sounds about right.
Yep. So I think it was later Tuesday. I call my doctor's office and ask if they've got the CT scan in, because I got the results of my CT scan in from Mercy that Monday afternoon. So I called my doctor Tuesday, and they said yes, they got the scan. The doctor will reach out to you once he's looked it over. And so day goes by. The doctor never called me on Tuesday. So I call him back on Wednesday after the doctor had looked through the scan yet. They said yes, he has, but the doctor's only there The doctor's only there on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So I have to wait to call him on Thursday. So that's completely. So I'm like, okay, that's weird, but okay. So I call him back on Thursday, and Thursday I finally talked to the doctor, and he's like, "Oh, you're fine." And I'm like, really? I did all that? You had me worried. I had to take time off work, and you're telling me now there's nothing wrong with me? Do you have like baby chicks or something, Duskwill?
Yeah, you could probably hear them. They're getting kind of loud.
Yeah.
Well, see, one thing you need to understand about this particular species is that they're actually highly social creatures, and sometimes they will make noise just because they miss you and want you to hold them and love them. I wish I was joking about that.
Yeah, I've been getting them really used to me. There is like getting up to a point to now where if I put my hands in their pin and I cut my hands, they'll like go into my hand, like lay down, maybe go to sleep. Or if I got my arms sticking straight out, they'll like fly up to my arms to roost.
Okay, that's fine. I just started getting loud. I'm like, what in the world? I didn't know if you were like outside and there were birds just tripping away, or if you were like in a barn surrounded by chicks.
Oh, yeah. He posted pictures about this a few days ago.
Oh yeah, I think I may have seen those. That's right. Yeah, I remember seeing those.
Yeah, we're gonna have them inside the house, and they're kind of like right next to my computer. We're keeping them in for like a couple of months until they grow up big. Then we set them outside in the coop we just built.
Get them to at least be large enough that cats won't eat them.
Yeah.
Okay, so I called Thursday. I'm talking about it. So another thing. So when I first went in there. So this is now going into the second week that I'm off work now. When this is all what I call doctor to give up my CT scan. So they already wrote me one note, excuse me for last week. I did not have a note yet to excuse them for this new week that I'm going into. So I asked the doctor if I can get a note to let him know that I need this week excused as well. And the doctor then just in the rudest way possible just said, I never said you needed to take time off work. And I replied, you never said I was able to go back to work. Plus I was still in pain at the time. And he's like, well, if I thought you needed to go back, you couldn't go to work, I would have said something. As if I was some fucking mind reader or some shit.
Was it a woman?
No, it was a dude.
Oh.
And so he says that. I get off the call because he's basically refusing to do what I'm asking him to do. And I get my dad involved, and we talk to the lady, the secretary lady, and we fill her in on what happened and ask if there's someone like higher up we could talk to. There's an office manager there, and she says that she won't be back in until after lunch. So we decide to wait, and we'll call back later. And for some reason, they're like on a 2-hour. They take like 2-hour lunches for some reason. These managers for some fucking reason.
Bureaucratic nonsense.
Yeah. So about 3:30, I think. We call back. I basically do the spiel of like, hey, this is me calling about this. My dad is here on the line. He has permission to talk on my behalf and ask questions. And my dad takes over from there. And so my dad's trying to figure out why I can't just get a note after doing everything they've asked me to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then she starts belittling and demeaning my father over the phone. And I'm like biting my tongue, trying not to say anything. Because they're trying to say they did this and they did that, which I was like, no. And I'm shaking my head the entire time. They're like, no, they didn't. No, they didn't. And she's trying to tell him like, well, if he was in pain, he should have come in on Monday, which, I mean, I already had a CT scan, so why would I need to come in when I was going to be going back? Because I already had like another appointment scheduled 2 weeks from when I was last there. So I was already planning to go back in at some point to hear about what was on my CT scan and all that, if I hadn't called beforehand. And then she's one thing that got really set my father off was she said that he should have taught your adult son how it works. Like, as if I'm supposed to know how all this leave of absence bullshit works when it comes to like the pain I'm dealing with.
You go to like a whole college for this.
I've heard people give people that nonsense in the past. And the core thing that I've seen about it in the past is that you're talking about your organization's specific bureaucratic bullshit as if it's a universal constant. It's not.
No, definitely not.
All right, so the lady actually is the one that ends up hanging up the phone because it goes past 4 o'clock and they're in the day at 4 o'clock. She's like, well, it's our end of the day, so I'm going to end the conversation here. It's basically
I wish my days would end at 4 o'clock.
And so my dad, after that, like my dad's okay. So in my family, we're kind of when we're like really upset, we're kind of all over the spectrum. My mom, when she's really upset, she bawls her eyes out. When I get like super upset, because it takes a lot to get me upset, I chuck shit. My dad is right in the middle. He is calm, he is cool and collective, and that scares the fuck out of all of us when he gets like that.
I'm the kind of person who, when I get PO'd like that, I'm the sulk in the corner and plot and scheme about it kind of person. Yeah. Usually, I don't do anything. But, you know, it's like if suddenly withdraw from a conversation and then just decide I'm not interested in talking, might be the reason why.
Yeah. So my dad,
when it comes to me getting like angry or upset, like I don't get angry. Other than I got like 2 stages. I'm either annoyed / pissed off, or I'm angry. If I'm just annoyed, I'll bitch, gripe, moan, and complain and stuff. But when I get actually angry about something, I become like hyper focused and start trying to do something.
Yeah, I think the last time I was ever upset to where I threw something was when I had to go through all the court proceedings to get custody of my son. Before I had everything finalized, my son's mom was like withholding him from us seeing him, or we didn't get to see him for like a week because she didn't like how we were going to the court instead of just letting her decide how it worked. And I remember being so upset. I grabbed onto my son's crib that was in my room and I just flipped it in the air in my room.
This is one of those situations where I'm like, if I was willing to allow you to make the decisions, we wouldn't be in this situation in the first place. So, no, I'm not going to allow you to make the decisions because that's the entire reason we're here, is because I'm not willing to.
Yeah, but basically how that all if I've shared it before, but how that all is, I have sole custody of my son now, and his mother's nowhere in his life at all. So that it is well,
I always
it's,
like
it's
hearing
sad, but it
stories
worked out
of
for the best. So
I always like hearing stories about fathers winning out in courts because far too often it's the opposite case for very little reason.
Well, I mean, a lot of cases, the judge will just like rule in favor of the mother simply because of the fact that it's the mother, and like unless they have a very specific reason to declare her an unfit parent, they won't even entertain the idea of separating her from her child.
so
Well, I guess it's fine because it's just the father.
I mean,
The
there's it's
because it takes two to tango to make a child. But yeah, sure, and it's just
yeah, it's a
it's
whole
the mother.
story.
It's the mother.
So yeah, it's a whole story. I'm not going to get into it all, but I've talked about it before. I think on other streams, but it's a whole story. But yeah, basically, I ended up getting so cast to my son. Like, and the judge, like right after she finalized, she banged the gavel saying, this is now your son. You're responsible for him and all that." She came out from behind the stand and actually gave my son a set of like plastic toy cars.
Wow.
Yeah, so this was a nice judge, and it's funny because when my dad ran into her at some event he was attending later on, she said that was like one of her most memorable like court experiences because we had a bunch of like family and friends that came out and sat in that courtroom to witness that.
It's got to be sad when more family shows up to the court cases in the family reunion. Sounds like my family.
Well, it wasn't that kind of a court case. But anyways, back to where I was going. So my dad, after he gets on the phone, looks at me and he's like, whoop. It's like, so because again, like that was like that Friday. No, not Friday. It was Thursday because they were closed Friday. So when he hands me, so on the phone, after we got off the phone on Thursday, he hands it back to me and says, "I'm going to come with you to your appointment on Monday, and I'm going to write a letter to the owner of the place because the head chiropractor and his wife both own and run that clinic that I was going to."
Ooh.
So he wrote a letter out and printed 2 copies out for each of them to have, and he dropped it off first thing that morning, and then he came with me later to the clinic because it was the follow up to check out all my stuff. And the chiropractor, he just asked questions. We discussed kind of what to do because basically what it came down to is I pulled or strained my muscle somehow is what it ended up probably more than likely being the answer. So we kind of left more questions than answers. But I went to work this week. I was fine enough to go back to work. He wrote me a form to do so. And then he even emailed me later that day a form excusing me for the last week that I had to take off as well. So the chiropractor came through on that as where the rest of them didn't. So I got all my stuff submitted and approved. So I got my leave approved. I got my short-term disability approved. But yeah, but after all this, I'm kind of thinking Luigi may have had the right idea, just the wrong sort of execution.
No,
and that was not a pun intended thing.
No. The Luigi Mangione thing, I am going to revile him to the day I die. Because after looking into that one, that was a hit. That wasn't him doing something on his own volition because he personally hated those people. That was a freaking hit.
Really now?
That's what I mean by when I say, because here's how I'm looking at it now. The CEOs, well, yes, they are the ones that kind of pass these crap rules and stuff to implement on hospitals and clinics and all that. The doctors are the ones that choose to implement them instead of following the oath that they took and actually thinking about what's best for the patient.
To do a quick recap on the Luigi Mangione thing is that the guy he killed, that he became famous for killing, is someone who was set to testify in court. And the best hypothesis I've seen on why he killed him on that specific time and date was to prevent him from testifying in court.
Okay, and that I never heard about. So this is
he
news
was
to
set
me.
to testify against the other corpo CEOs, and
Oh,
It is
God.
believed that he would have exposed some of the corporate shenanigans that have been doing illegal and unethical things, and that he got killed to silence him.
Has this actually been proven? Because again, this is the first time I'm hearing this.
Well, if it had been proven in a court of law, you would have heard about it. It's a hypothesis based on evidence, but yeah, Luigi Mangione, we don't actually have any reason to believe he was actually acting on his own.
Honestly, I believe it. The world is a play at this point.
Yeah, I just think it's not the CEOs that are the problem. It's more the doctors that are now in the system that are just basically using what the CEOs put in play for their benefits and saying instead of choosing to ignore it and doing what's best for the patient as their oath dictates that they're supposed to.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, like, it's one of those things where it's like, yes, you have a job working for Corpo Scum. You chose to work for Corpo Scum.
Yeah, but you can still do the right thing even if you choose to work for Corpo Scum because.
So,
What
I
were you gonna
mean,
say,
like,
Disco?
doctors still perform circumcision, as it like doctors still perform circumcision. They do abortions and they do child transgender affirmation surgeries. I don't think the oath really matters anymore. I don't think it ever really truly mattered. I don't think you need to take
No,
that oath to
no.
become a doctor.
It was a PR gimmick.
I'm not going to argue the circumcision point because I don't see anything wrong with circumcision. So that's kind of a personal preference thing. Everything else, though, I completely agree with you on that about transgenderism and the abortions.
We can go on a whole conversation about circumcision.
I mean, it's kind of a tomato thing at that point. Some people like it,
And
some people don't.
No.
It's like there's really no bad side effects against circumcision. Like I had one, and I'm perfectly fine. So
No bad. Yeah, just lopping off like the most sensitive part of of a child's penis while they're
you're
still
lopping off
babies.
the foreskin. You're acting like it's like they chop off like the whole tip. You're just lopping off some extra foreskin.
That sometimes happens. So like 1 out of 2, like 1 out of 20, 1 out of 20.
That's only
200.
if they do it wrong.
It happens more than you think.
Yeah, and if that
Or
if it is
completely
happening quite
unnecessary
often,
surgery.
That counts as malpractice at that point.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm not going to sit here and say that I know every single statistic. I just share my own thoughts, my own opinions. So if what you say is true, and there's like a lot of like if there is issues that are not being released about the issues of circumcision, then yeah, those doctors should be removed. However, it's still the choice of people if they want to have that or not.
Not the baby's choice.
It's a big circumcision is really different between transgender surgery and abortion. I do not consider it in the same field.
All right.
As
just harming babies, that's fine.
As a define harm. That's the whole thing, is that it doesn't really harm them. Anyways, though, it's that
there's also cases that doing so can actually like not just maim, well, it 100% maims the dick. That's the point of it, but not only just absolutely like destroy it in some accidental procedures, but it can also lead to complete I know it's like loss of feeling, or can cause psychological issues of early stage development trauma to where you have negative reactions to the idea of sex.
Again, this seems like one of those things where it's because something went wrong, not because of the basic idea.
Yeah, like for some reason, like so a lot of people have decided to be up in arms against surrogacy for women that choose to do that when the other can get pregnant. So, and people say, "Oh, that's bad," and I'm like, "No, it's not. If a woman is unable to carry a child, she should be able to have all options available for her to be able to have a family if she chooses to."
Circumcision and surrogacy are nowhere closely related.
I mean, I'm not trying to say it's related, but it's just kind of another point of the matter. So,
anyways, this particular tangent seems to have run its course.
Yeah, but just like at this point, I'm just to the point where it's like I could have my arm ripped off at a workplace accident. I would just tell them to cauterize the wound to let me keep working. I have another hand I can still use.
That's let's just move on.
Yeah, but anyways, speaking of losing arms, basically, video game has kind of lost one with the shutdown of Highguard. After 45 days, High Guard went from being a possible success to just another Concord like flop.
Yeah.
I would consider this to be akin to cutting off your hand because it's infected and necrotic.
Yeah, because it was basically kind of almost doomed from the start because they only had 3 versus 3. It was like a huge map. They tried to do something for everyone and no one ended up enjoying it. Basically, is what it comes down to.
Here's the other thing is that what they try to pretend is new and unique and interesting is something that Smite has been doing for over a decade. Yeah, the whole like base raid concept thing. Like that was actually one of the main gameplay modes in Smite when it came out. And yes, okay, Smite is not a first person game. Sure, whatever. But the idea is the same thing.
You mentioning Smite remind me that I'm still eagerly waiting for Spellcasters Chronicles to come out. Because that was always going to be a fun MOBA. I also kind of miss playing Smite a little bit, but I stopped playing because I somehow years ago I ran into an issue where every time I try to launch the game, it just hard crashes every time.
Yeah, and then
it's probably fixed by now, but I'm already like out the habit of playing it.
And then I believe I'm trying to remember. I think it was called the 1348. Is that Lesbian Night game? That's also
that one. Speaking of hard crashing,
that one got memed to hell, and it deserved it.
Yep, because it was supposed to be like, oh, it's going to be a great game, and then everyone who supported it didn't play it. And it ends with the lesbian lovers killing each other. It's like you cannot be more ironic than that with a video game.
See, this is one of those things where some of the people who comment on that actually pointed out that that's actually kind of normal for the way lesbian relationships end in real life.
Exactly. Yeah, because there's domestic violence happens more under lesbian relationships than any other relationship, surprisingly enough.
Is it surprising though?
And it's also funny that considering gay relationships or man marrying man has the lowest divorce rate.
Yeah.
Someone tell me there's a part of this equation that's the problem.
Yeah, because I know Gabriel Iglesias in one of his stand-up specials talked about this. He's like, yeah, because 2 guys can actually come up with answers. It's like, what do you want to go? I like Taco Bell. Me too. Let's go.
We can actually have a conversation here.
Exactly, they can have a conversation, and it's like, hey babe, where do you want to go? I don't know. You pick. How about Taco Bell? Taco Bell makes my hips big. It's like, and guys like it's a thing where it's like guys will riff on each other constantly. Like we could say like the worst things to each other and we'll still be best friends. Like you're hanging out with you're hanging out with one friend and then another friend's like, and you're calling each other like ugly motherfucker or something, and then that guy walks away and the other guy goes, who's that? And you're like, oh yeah, that's my best friend, he's the greatest guy in the world.
I actually kind of like the psychology that goes into that, because there's a lot to like theorize when it comes to like like the need for vulnerability and affirmation and the ability to trust. And it's like, if you can shit talk your best friend and they don't get upset and can shit talk you back, you know you got a deep bond, someone you can actually rely on. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, and then for the women, it's the opposite. It's like women are like, oh, you're the best, we're together, and then as soon as one leaves, the other 2 will go, oh, she's such a cunt. It's like, tell me I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen many meme comics about the topic. Yeah,
this is actually one of those things where I've heard a lot of people do a commentary on, is just the whole idea that women in general are more likely to be duplicitous when having conversations with other people.
Yeah, and like, don't get me wrong here. For context, what I'm about to say here next is I love women. Been with plenty of women in my lifetime. But I would not be past the thought of entertaining the idea of being with a femboy that cares about me if it was like the right relationship and the feelings were there. So
Me looks female enough.
exactly.
No. Anyways,
As a friend once said when I was hanging out with him after our concert, a hole is a hole.
I freaking love that. We all know the Baki manga. Yeah, that's a wild situation. But it just reminds me of the of like the line one of the characters in the manga that says, "I am straight. If it gets me hard, it's a woman."
That's hysterical.
Anyways, though.
All right, so yeah, there's more video game flops. I'm trying to think. There was one that I remember seeing about that I was interested in, but I can't remember what it was now. There's like a couple.
There's like a website that I bookmarked that Flopathon, that's all about showing the live plummets of games. Let's see what we got. What we got on the docket here. Go to charts. We got Marathon, Legend of California, Time Takers, Last Flag, Gothic 1 Remake. Oh, Knight's Path is actually going up.
Oh yeah, that's the one that 1348 tried to kind of dog on, but failed miserably.
Yeah, apparently Knight's Path was actually pretty good.
Oh,
Subnautica 2's going up. Arc Raiders going up. Here comes Crimson Desert on the scroll.
Crimson Desert. That's what I was thinking about. Yeah,
Crimson Desert is. I'm hearing a lot of mixed things about it. For the most part, it's incredibly positive.
Yeah, I know it got a lot of slack because there's a game where it's like you have to like hunt. There's a bounty on a woman you have to hunt down, and you get to start. You can wail on her, which I thought was just funny, honestly, more than anything. I mean, it's just a video game after all.
Yeah. There's one thing I am kind of sick and tired though is everyone like I know it's social media with X and it's all about just gaming the system for views and stuff. I'm just tired of every time a video game comes out, the only thing you hear for a good bit is like, oh hey, I can pet the dog, and for like Crimson Desert, like you can pick up a fat cat.
Come pet that dog. Come pet that dog.
Well, I mean,
it was like when I first saw the gimmick account of "Can you pet the dog," which was a whole X account, which just like, oh, can you pet the dog in this video game where a dog shows up? It's like, yes, you can. Recommend. No, you can't. Don't recommend. Like that was kind of funny, but then like all everyone talks about is like how you interact with animals, so I'm like, yeah, okay.
But speaking of dogs, though, there are plenty of those that exist out in the world as well. They're in human form, such as the recent phenomenon that was supposed to be the newest Bachelorette. I don't know if you heard about this scandal that happened.
Oh no!
But there was supposed to be a brand new season of the Bachelorette that was supposed to come out, and what they did was they got a single mother of 4 kids to be the Bachelorette. First off, second off, videos started coming out of her beating on an ex-boyfriend in front of their daughter, and there was also court cases that were or public that you people could see at the time of past abuse that she was on trial for. But for some reason, the Bachelorette decided, oh, we'll just ignore that after the because I guess there was some Bachelor scandal that happened where a guy posted something quote unquote racist or some shit. And that started a whole new, with them coming out being like, oh, we're going to make sure we do better. We'll do more
research.
We'll do more research on who we have on the show. And then they get this woman. And I guess, and everyone, of course, was an uproar. And that show and that season of Bachelorette has now been officially canceled.
Jeez.
Yeah, there's literally this video that started going around today. She's throwing chairs at the guy as he's standing right next to their daughter. He is just flinging chairs in his direction, and he's trying to knock him out of the way to make sure that none of them hit their daughter. And it is just wild.
That is wild.
Well, see, this is one of those things where I am reminded of something that my grandparents told me when I was a small child. It's like about chivalry. It's like, yeah, it's a great idea. It's like, yes, you are the man. You are the you should protect the woman because the woman is the weaker, fairer sex and all that stuff. Doesn't change whether or not the woman is doing the wrong thing. So that only applies if the woman is actually doing the right thing. If she's being an evil bitch, well, the law is the law.
There's one thing a lot of people get wrong is that the code of chivalry does not apply to just any and all women. It applies to ladies, and there's very few ladies in this world today.
Yep. That was the other part is that if you want to be treated like a lady, act like one.
Yeah. I literally thought you stopped, snorted a line, and then continued talking with the way you sniffled your nose there for a second, more Hawkman. It's like, yeah, let me snort. It's like, yeah, let me snort this line before I get into this now. Because sometimes I think you do need like a lot of alcohol or maybe a drug of some sort in order to deep dive into some of the shit we talk about sometimes. I swear.
I've noticed that I tend to do that is that I will do like an audible inhale because I want to fill my lungs completely instantly. So I will just and you can hear it, but that's just me inhaling to fill my lungs.
just prepping for the long-winded speech.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought that was crazy because I first heard about it because I listened to the Brett Cooper's new podcast throughout the week, and she was talking about it, and I just thought, like, how wild is this? And again, the only reason like stuff like this is not looked as down upon as it should be is because feminism has basically normalized this that women can just treat men however they want, treat them like garbage, treat them like dirt, take them for everything that they're worth, and as men, we're just supposed to lie there and take it.
Well, what always makes it hilarious to me is that, before, we start actually seeing pushback against feminism or really the early signs of modern feminism showing up, we've already had the statistic that despite the common belief, the rates of male on female and female on male domestic violence were already very comparable to almost equal levels. And then you also have to recognize the fact that because of optics and just people not really caring, a vast majority of male victims will not report being victims of domestic violence. So then you look at that very comparable rates of the two sexes being very similar and being victims of domestic violence, and realize, oh, that's not all the numbers.
Yeah, it's like men can be victims of abuse and just hide it for years. And then you have women that, quote unquote, say that something happened 30 years ago, and the court of law just goes with it without any actual evidence. Like, it's crazy. Because again, I still stand by my statement I make that Bill Cosby was absolutely set up. I do not believe he did what they said he did to those girls.
You can't also forget the Kavanaugh situation either.
That was a whole shitstorm too. Yeah. And
a whole national scandal and hubbub over she said this X thing happened like 30 years ago.
Yeah, and then there was the whole Stormy Daniels situation where they tried to settle, and they still try to say like, oh, he raped her basically, which was like, no, there was really no proof of him saying that he did, but everyone just backs it up for some reason, even though there was no actual proof.
I just like everyone got up in arms with Donald Trump with the grab her by the pussy thing, but and the locker room speak, but he also said that if you're famous or rich enough, they'll let you do anything that you want. And I'm like, Yeah, what's controversial here? Does everyone forget groupies exist?
As soon as I heard that Donald Trump said that, that was when he had my vote.
It's like we completely forgot the concept that groupies exist. There are like now I know, not all women, but like there is a significant chunk of women out there that will throw all standards out the window and sleep with anything if they got enough money or fame to them.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, I saw this because we were talking about abortion earlier, and the idea was like, oh, a woman will easily commit an abortion if it gets in the way of her life. But if she got pregnant by, say, Tiger Woods, LeBron James, she would absolutely keep that baby and take the man for all he's worth.
Oh yeah, because it's no longer inconvenient.
Yeah, it's no longer a burden; it's a paycheck.
Yeah, but as we all know, abortion is just modern day human sacrifice.
Yep. No different than what the Aztecs did. All right. Anyways, trying to think what else I had in my thoughts, because there's a few things I want to talk about today. Oh yeah, because we're going music wise, because we were talking about the behind the scenes too, and if you hadn't noticed by the image that I have currently for me, everyone's been talking about the Afroman trial that happened. I don't know if it happened recently. I feel like that happened like a few years back, and everyone just is now talking about it again for some reason.
No, it's like the last week, I think, was when it actually went down.
Oh, because I remember I remember
You might be
hearing things
thinking
about
of something similar, but I'm not sure of all of the exact specifics. 'Cause, like, I think what part of it was that, like, it may have gotten started, like, whenever, but, like, finished, like, the final verdict was within the last week.
okay, so it's been
March
going on for a
18th.
while.
March 18th. That's when the trial happened, or when the trial was closed.
I thought this had been going on for a while because I remember listening to an old video describing about
the event occurred like 2022, 2023. So
okay, that's what we're thinking about. Yeah, because literally, so for those who aren't familiar with this situation, Afroman is this. He's a big time underground rapper. He's definitely not mainstream, but he's definitely big enough to be very known independent wise. And he's basically this big pothead. He's a career pothead basically, and he's done a lot of good songs. You probably wouldn't be more familiar with the Crazy Rap song and the Because I Got High song. Those are like his top two.
He's like one of those niche fame names where you're not gonna like know him by name, but you have definitely heard maybe 2 or 3 of his songs without realizing who he is.
Yeah, I think the third one I know is the "She Won't Let Me Fuck." I think that was like another one I like to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, but I could do like the entire like first verse of Crazy Rap almost by memory, and parts of the second one, because the second one gets all convoluted because it's all the different women, and I always forget which one was which. Except for the I met this lady in Hollywood. She had green hair, but damn, she looked good. Took her to my house because she was fine, but she whooped out a dick that was bigger than mine. It's like a song from back then, reality in 2026.
See, here's the thing that people forget is that back in the 80s and 90s, trannies were pretty much universally hated.
It reminds me of the Funky Cold Medina song. They had a line about a tranny in there.
Chino was a man. Yep, I remember that.
Yep.
And so I don't know. I think he was. I don't know if he was there or he may have been out of town for something. I believe he was out of town doing something, and then the cops in the area raided one of his homes, and they like stole a bunch of money, stole a few things of his, ate a cake. I recall too. That was also
yeah.
Like, in
I was
his
gonna say,
kitchen.
one of them ate a cake. That was on the counter.
And I think, Afroman, I think he tried to do it like to go the correct route, and that failed against him. So he started releasing songs talking about all the officers that raided his home. One of them being titled "Lemon Pound Cake." That actually came across the music video for earlier today because he actually used he caught everything on his personal home security footage and used that home security footage in his music videos, and called the majority of the officers out by name.
Well, okay, but by name, but also by funny monikers that made for better rap lyrics.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, before everyone just started calling himself Little Something.
Yeah, and then yeah, so time goes on, and the cops that were part of that raid after the songs got released decided that they were going to sue Afro Man for it. And that led to a whole trial that happened. And one of the officers came forward and said that like he tried to accuse Afro Man of sleeping with his wife. Well, now ex-wife by the time his trial started. They brought Afro Man called that same ex-wife in to testify on his behalf. And the ex-wife straight up said, "No, Afro Man didn't sleep with me, but my husband was a piece of shit, basically." I'm paraphrasing here, but that's kind of almost kind of how it went down. So the ex-wife basically said, "No, Afro Man didn't ruin the marriage. He ruined the marriage." And I'm just sitting here thinking, like, because again, like I am very much independent with more right-leaning values more than anything. And you have to realize your side has done fucked up when someone like me is rooting for the career pot smoking rapper. I mean, it's
real life is a reality TV show.
exactly, yeah. We're just some reality TV show for whatever aliens are watching us at this moment.
Well, I mean, it's the old art imitates life thing. It's like making art that is meaningful and impactful. It has to hook people by being familiar. That's part of what why we have like the whole like aliens that are like this thing from Earth but slightly different, because of the fact that it needs to be relatable. But here's the thing, is that all of that courtroom drama you see in dozens of TV shows, yeah, most of that is actually just, inspired by real life.
Yeah, and it makes me think of all the different. I'm starting to think of like all the other situations which artists were trying to get sued over, because you had the case against Marilyn Manson, when I guess people tried to sue him because several school shooters used his songs for inspiration. He was, which I thought is completely done. I actually even remember reading because I was reading a book about one of the it was the Columbine victims. There was a little like autobiography released from her, like her family, and they talked about like one of the Marilyn Manson songs and quoted the lyrics, and it was the song "Get Your Gun." I actually remember like finding that song and like actually jamming out to it after I discovered it, and I'm just like, it's actually not a bad song. I mean, it's bad. It's bad that a couple like mentally disturbed kids used it as like more reason to like shoot up a school. But that's on them, not the artist.
The reality is that it wasn't their reason for doing it. It's just something that they liked.
Exactly.
That's a thing that I find people like making an error with on these a lot of things, is that like this isn't the reason they chose to shoot up a school. It's merely something that they mentioned as something that existed in their personal repertoire. It's not the same thing.
And then there was a time, I think it was like one of Eminem's like childhood bullies, like later on tried to sue him because Eminem would rap about what he did to him in some of his songs as well.
Oh boy.
And I don't remember. I think the bully won. I think on that one. I don't think he got much, but he won that settlement or whatever, if I recall.
That's silly, but okay.
It is silly because it's fucking Eminem. Like, I don't agree with Eminem's politics, but he is definitely one of the better like rappers of all time that I will still listen to.
I personally have to say that like 90% of rappers I kind of sort of considered to be worthless. Just as a general principle, I guess you could say.
I always liked the Eminem because he actually treated rap like it's poetry with actual wit and wordplay and work and like flexible rhythm.
Yeah,
he's like the only one that actually pushed the like creative boundaries of the music genre.
Yeah, because it's like you have all these like you have one side of the hip hop that's like they hate on Eminem just because he's white, and the other side is all like you only hate him because he's better than you at it.
And like just look, all the famous or good hip hop artists and rappers actually like Eminem. Meanwhile, all all the new age. Well, yeah, I can't say that. Some of the new age still like Eminem, Juice World liked Eminem a lot.
Yeah, I like the freaking. I remember Joe Budden, who was part of the Slaughterhouse crew. They were all signed to Eminem's like record label at one point, and then they all disbanded because of like various personal reasons. And Joe Budden was one of those rappers that came out and just started dissing on him just because he's a white rapper. And I'm just like, really? It's ridiculous what some people just pick up, just will bitch about over. Like, again, Eminem. Like, there's a lot of good rappers out here, but Eminem is the one like white rapper that outdid so many of them. He was the prominent one that came out in an all black space and was able to successfully do what everyone else could do.
Mm-hmm.
And now you got artists like you had Bubba Sparks, Paul Wall, Yellow Wolf, Tom McDonald. You got all these white rappers coming up that have also been like making a name for themselves for years now.
I always I like to do a lot of compare and contrast when it comes to certain people, certain individuals, certain topics, just for thought experiments and just laughs. But I always imagine, like, man, Eminem actually went through what you call the quote unquote black experience. He went through the struggle, living in the slums of Detroit with his abusive and drug addicted mother, and and he managed to get himself out of that situation through his music career. Whenever was it Dre that picked him up?
Yeah, Dr. Dre.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Dr. Dre. And then I look to, let's say, Drake, the freaking milquetoast Canadian hip hop artist, and he's all like, "I started from the bottom, now I'm here." It's like, bro, you grew up in a gated community. What bottom did you come from?
Yeah, with a white mom.
With a white mom. Like, what the hell? Like, bro, the white rapper went through more struggle than you. What the hell you got going on?
Yeah, like I remember I don't keep it a secret. I wrote and record my own hip hop stuff for 10 years, and this is back when DatPiff was like the ultimate mixtape platform to put stuff out if you just want to get stuff out there. The very first mixtape I ever released was called "Life and Confessions of a Rich White Guy," because in my high school I was considered the rich white guy because I always had money on me. Like, it wasn't a lot of money, but I always had money.
Well, some is better than none, I guess. It's technically richer.
Yeah. So it was just a play on that. It's just for shits and giggles, basically. And it wasn't even like an actual album. The album cover, it was just a junk one I made. I like Photoshop glasses and a chain on like an old high school picture of mine. Like, I'm sure I got the files on my laptop somewhere, more than likely. I have all those songs.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, because I started recording in I got a Day One guy. I don't talk to him much anymore, but I started like in his garage with his younger brother, who was kind of like a beat producer, who was kind of mainly produced his own beats at the time, and recorded his garage. Eventually got my own stuff, started doing my own things, and actually, I may have talked about this on here before. I have a song I did with Jelly Roll before he blew up, back when he was doing underground hip hop in Tennessee, and it's called "Stay With Me." And
Atmos.
Huh?
I was just saying hi to Atmos.
Oh, yeah, I just saw his comment. It blew up. It just appeared on my end. Hey, Atmos, good to see you. So yeah, and like when I remember, I still get royalty checks on it every now and then, like every couple months. Just like maybe a little here, a little there. But when he really blew up after he won, I think it was like at the Country Music Awards. I remember sitting with my family at a restaurant one time. I get a notification on my phone, and I say, I got like $300 coming my way, being deposited for song sales. Because if they use it for like commercials or radio promotions and all that, I get a little bit from that as well. So, so, yeah.
But this is one of those things where it's like a handful of dollars every now and then, nothing much, I guess.
Once more for like maybe. This happens like once or twice every month. I get the meme video of the Killer Bean dancing opening sequence, but the text is all about what the stuff the FBI, CIA, NSA, and all the other alphabet soup agencies do to invade the privacy of American citizens. Pretty funny.
speaking of the FBI, now we're going to like the last hour of the show where we kind of this is where we save all our politics talks for usually. And while it was basically like, yeah, we knew they were doing this, but now it's actually public knowledge that this was shared by a pirate nation on X. The FBI has confirmed it is buying commercially available location data from private companies. This lets the agency track people's movements using smartphone data without needing a warrant.
I mean, we already knew this has been going on for years. They just finally decided to admit it.
Yeah, it's like what I said earlier. Knowing that it's true and having it be public knowledge are unfortunately not the same thing.
It's one of those like open secret things where eventually someone actually like fully admits to it, but for years or whatever, it'll be just like people pretend it's not true. It's like, what? No, that's not true. No.
I remember years ago, maybe almost a decade ago, I had like a moment where I had some respect for Apple because I was like watching, or not watching, I was listening to the radio while on my way to college. And there was talk like around the time, I can't remember the exact situation, but there was like a terrorist attack that happened somewhere in America, or there's like an attempt at it, but the terrorist got neutralized. But he had an Apple phone that was completely secure, and the FBI couldn't get into it. So they went to Apple to try and have them install a backdoor software so they can get into it, and they're like, no.
Yeah, it's one of it's like listening to it. Someone's conversation back in the day involved having multiple landlines in one place, and then someone just started listening on the other end of one of the other phones. And now we're now this advanced state of technology where it's like someone could literally just point a satellite to wherever you're at and just listen into your conversation.
I mean, people literally have devices where they have it on you and just pass by, or they can literally just rip money straight off from your card.
That's actually one of those things that's far harder to make work than you think, but it's
still possible.
Yeah. Because like the range on those is basically like pickpocket range. Just like the person has to be like standing within like 1 foot of your card to make it work or something like that. I'm not sure the exact range.
Yeah, and then Atmos shared like Microsoft Windows 11 takes snapshots of your desktop and browsers and compiles a file on you using Copilot, which I think I heard that they're going to start doing away with Copilot more than likely.
It's part of their AI recommendations thing is that it's collecting information about you so that it can attempt to manipulate you into buying things.
I mean, like already, like it's either the FBI or the NSA, they already like require antivirus software to never be able to block their attempts at remote installing key loggers onto your computer so they can have access to what you're searching up at any given time.
Yeah, and I guess Atmos just said Linux is being forced to go the route of age verification due to system.d bending the knee.
I can believe it.
Yeah, and then what else? I was just thinking about like I have like all my webcams have one of those like covers that you could just slide on and off of them, because I don't know if people still doing it or not, because I remember back when it was like, oh, people could hack into your webcams and watch you like dress and take pictures of you and all that.
Oh, I mean, see, that's actually one of those things that is the reason why a lot of webcams have the whole like colored light thing on them is like, when it's, normal operation, the colored light is to let you know when it's working so that it's like, oh, hey, the webcam is active. So I know that I properly turned it on and that it is recording what I wanted to record. But also it means that if someone is, covertly accessing it and turning it on when you don't want it to be turned on, it'll also come on then too.
I mean, like, let's also forget that with the right devices, people can literally see 3D. Can basically see like a 3D rendering of the inside of your house using Wi-Fi signals, including your own heat signature.
That's actually one of those things that I've heard of it. I kind of looked into it, and from what I've been able to gather, it's the receiver you need for that is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, and then like I'm not super worried about it at the moment because I'm like, well, the only thing they're gonna find out about is about my based opinions and then my RPG takes. I'm more worried about it if the Democrats decide to take power again. That's what I'm really gonna be more worried about it.
Though I always had this idea of like a cyberpunk setting because I saw some time ago that when it comes to facial recognition technology, uh, face paint can like block identification metrics. And so I had the idea that in a cyberpunk setting of the anti-corp rebellion faction, we're just a bunch of insane clown posse fans.
Oh, hey, but speaking of that, yeah, did you ever watch that stupid Robin Hood TV show about like a modern day take on Robin Hood, where it's like this place in, I think it was Canada, going like
Didn't it
cyberpunk
flop?
dystopia? Oh yeah, it flopped hard because
Because
the
it was
writing
one of
shit.
those it was one of those like POC based stories or something like that.
Yeah, the writing was shit, and it tried to be edgy without really being edgy. However, they did put in a few, like a tiny handful of things in there that were actually good ideas. One of which was how they have, it's basically like police state using electronic surveillance to track everyone. So the characters who want to have their identities remain anonymous put on these stupid techno disguises that you have like bright glowing lines on their costumes, and these ridiculous face masks that not only completely cover their entire face and head, but also have like these glowing lines added to the mask everywhere. Well, that actually works at preventing people from recording your identity with electronic surveillance.
Yeah. That's wild.
Yeah. Yeah, and then politics wise, I mean, I'm being completely honest. I am just getting all these last couple weeks. It's been a lot of just rinse and repeat with Israel and Iran more than anything. And I'm just at this point where I'm just like, I don't give a fuck anymore. It's
It's one of those things where when you like pay close attention to what these people are saying, the list of things that they say is basically just we hate Israel. It's not they're not actually saying like, oh, we okay. Some of the time they will pretend that they're saying things like oh, we think Israel shouldn't be allowed to commit a genocide. It's like they're not.
it's like I mean, my viewpoints on all this are the exact same that I've been gone for like almost the last decade now. Israel has every right to defend itself. Just should be doing it without our money, and the rest of the Middle East should be glassed off the face of the earth at this point.
Like I don't really have any strong opinions one way or the other, but I also know that for like the longest time we just had problems with Iran, so it's just I'm not really surprised we just do more stuff to it.
I mean, Iran is one of those things where it's just a matter of like, we were going to have to kill them at some point.
I like there's this little short I keep seeing every now and then where a guy's like a Middle Eastern guy's like it's Iran and Iraq, not Iran, not Iraq, and the guy's essentially going, it's a kid, not a wife.
Well, here's the thing that really bakes some people's noodles about the whole Iran thing. Like, what country in the Middle East is the most heavily invested in the Iran conflict of all of the Arabic countries? Which one is the most heavily invested in the Iran conflict?
Israel?
Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Why?
Way off the mark. I don't know. You tell me why.
They fucking hate Khomeini.
I feel
One
like
of
just
the-
everyone in the Middle East hates each other at this point. Like I don't feel
Well, one
no
of
one in the
these
Middle East
Saud-
gets along.
One of these Saudi princes actually, in an interview on television recently, compared Khomeini to Hitler.
Oh boy.
And that was one
Uh,
of these Saudis doing that.
I feel like in regards to the Middle East, they wouldn't be that far off comparing them to Hitler.
Well,
To be fair, in some Middle Eastern countries, their leaders can actually be pretty based.
some of them. Like
Yeah, some of
in
them.
the case of Khomeini, he was like your stereotypical totalitarian dictator who that's the only way he's stayed in power is by being a totalitarian dictator.
I forget which country it was, but I remember the leader of a country that went to the UK for a open forum discussion, and he straight up said, your empathy will be the death of you. You're only allowing in the terrorists, the extremist terrorists we don't want. If you keep doing it, you will kill your own country. Please stop.
Yeah.
Atmos just shared. Apparently, Foundry VTT banned Israel from using their service,
Damn.
and this is why I don't. This is why I don't use VTTs. Just another reason not to use Foundry.
Yep. Kind of pathetic.
It's like
Hey,
I know an RPG I own called Fist. They're all like free. They were all in on the Free Palestine, and they were talking about like all the stuff like Israel's done. It's like, are you going to talk about all the stuff that the Palestinian people have done?
No,
If
no. Here's my take on the Free Palestine. Execute every single member of Hamas, and then Palestine will be free.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to do that. The problem is all these freaking terrorists and these terror organizations use the public as basically human shields.
Yep.
So it's like, so the only way to get to these terror organizations is through a genocide. At this point, that's what they're making it become.
But that's the whole point behind human shields is to create a situation where combat is impossible without exceptional amounts of collateral damage.
Yeah, because it's like I was talking about here. The United States is basically becoming the misunderstood villain because we're not entirely doing the wrong thing, but it's because losing my train of thought here again. I'm sorry.
It's one of those situations where the unfortunate reality is that while there are real issues and stuff, there's only so much you can do without just giving up on it.
It sort of reminds me of the scene from the Overlord anime movie where the main character Ainz is helping a party of paladins take back their country from a collection of monsters, and they were raiding a city that the monsters took hostage, and the monsters freaking took like the children of the people of the city and tied them to their chests as meat shields. And Ainz like, if you're not going to kill them, you're only showing them that having hostages work.
It's like the I forgot
anyone who uses human shields deserves death.
I think it was like what was it, the Jojo and the Rabbit, where it was like the story about a German kid during World War II, and like the ending of it is you see like a teacher like arming the kids with like grenades and then just sending them out to basically suicide bomb the American soldiers as they were coming into Germany.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's crazy.
Well, see, it's like that one was actually like technically not suicide bombing, but it was like one of those things where it's like 99% casualty rate.
Yeah.
I'd heard about that actually it's like it was a rather major thing in the late stages of the war because of the fact that like the Germans were just so desperate that they would give anyone who was physically capable of holding weapons to resist even if that was otherwise completely pointless.
Yeah.
I love what Atmos said. It's we the people, by the people, for the people, but the people are retarded.
As always said, democracy and republics all sound fine and dandy until you meet the people whose vote is equal to yours.
Well, that actually gets even more ridiculous when you look at the way that so some of these people currently want to do things. Because, like, what is Zoran Mamdani's take on who is counts as a New Yorker?
Speaking of Mondami, that's another and crazy shitstorm that happened recently.
Before we move on to that, I've been having a joke in the chamber, been wanting to tell for the past few minutes, but I wasn't able to get the up word in.
Go ahead. I want to hear this now.
All right, so I'll just go back to like it's not Iran, it's Iraq, is Iraq and Iran thing.
Yeah.
As I was going to say, here's one for you. Iran. That's a funny way of saying Persia.
Yep. Well, actually, though, as one person pointed out to me, is that the reason it's Iran and not Persia is that Iran is a section of what used to be the Persian Empire, and that to make it Persia again, you would have to reattach the other sections.
Make Persian Empire great again.
And it's just like one of those things. It's like we could do that, but we don't really want to, fold all of those things back into Persia.
Was Persia one of the fractured kingdoms that came after the death of Alexander the Great? I'm trying to remember.
No, Persia's older than that.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Persia predates Alexander the Great. Persia was actually one of those things mentioned in the Bible as like Mene Tekel Upharsin. That was a message God gave to the king of Persia.
After a while, when you do so much ancient world history, you kind of mix up the timeline a little bit if you're not actively looking at one.
Oh yeah, there are so many things where it's just like, which of these happened first? And also then it comes to the moment when you realize that the people writing the history books didn't actually know and are just guessing.
And then I guess that's how you'll wind up with situations like go back to tabletop gaming when you get to the map that Trench Crusade came out with a few months ago that people didn't really like.
Yeah,
it had quite some inaccuracies to it.
Yeah. So speaking of going back to what we were about to bring up, was we had there was a protest that was happening in New York. I think it was last week. This was happening.
Oh, I think I know what this is going to be about.
Yeah, it's like I think Jake Lang was here because it centered around him and white supremacy. And there was a guy that was recorded on the leftist side saying, "We want the illegals to stay here in New York." And right as he said that, a guy hopped in the air, flung a nail bomb over him, and shouted "Allahu Akbar."
Yep, I've seen people meme that one all the way to hell and back.
It is heavily memed on.
Yeah, thankfully the bomb did not go off. They were able to get the guy, and I think there was like a couple others that were there as well that were planning to do the same thing. And then the retard that was recorded goes onto his channel and tries to make excuses for the guy and condemns the other side.
I'm sitting here like, bro, if that bomb went off, you're dead, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you won't be able to upload the video. You're just straight dead. You're a victim of a terrorist attack.
Oh, it actually gets better than that because of the fact that at one point in time, Zoran Mamdani put out a press release about someone using an explosive device as part of a protest outside of his home, but somehow accidentally perhaps neglected to mention the fact that it was a Muslim terrorist throwing a explosive device at people who were peacefully protesting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. New York is basically signed their own death warrant by electing that dude in the office.
Well, here's the other thing is that I don't believe that he actually got elected. again, this is one of those things that goes back to that thing Trump said back in 2020, 2021, is that in a lot of these elections, they're rigged so hard that it's functionally just whoever the people running the election want to win. And that's part of the reason why they don't want the election reform stuff to get passed and signed into law, is because of the fact that they have been stuffing ballot boxes and don't want to get sent to prison for stuffing ballot boxes.
I still love the videos of the people that said, I never voted in an election yet. Somehow my name comes up on having voted on some ballots.
Back in the 80s and 90s, it was a meme that there were elderly people who had been loyal voters for over 100 years. That was a meme back in the 80s and 90s.
Wasn't there like a thing like during the time when Doge was a thing? They found like a person else on Social Security before like even the country was founded.
Yeah. But a lot of people will say like, oh, that's just a database error. Pay no attention to that. It's like, if it's just a database error, fix the database.
Yeah, but the government, there is an error in the database. They're going to have to wait like 2 decades and spend $500 billion because they fired all the people that actually made the damn thing. So they need to have people trained somewhat well in systems to try and decipher the archaic structure of their infrastructure.
Oh, please. If it was that easy, they would have done it already. No, it's worse. The database is built using a software application that is no longer supported by the manufacturer. And the only people who actually know how it works are dead because they died of old age. And the software is being maintained in legacy mode, and people are actually running on outdated patches because they know that if they update to the latest version of the software, it'll break the database, and no one actually knows how to update it successfully. I wish I was joking about that kind of stuff. The US government really works on those principles sometimes.
We'll be in the year 2200, and the American government's still going to be ran on cassette tapes.
And then there is a win for me to share this week. As many of you know, I am a proud Arkansan and residing in Northwest Arkansas. And we here in the state of Arkansas, we have, I don't know if you guys have heard this, we have a man. His name is Aaron Spencer. Aaron Spencer currently won the primary for the Lonoke County Sheriff while currently pending trial for killing his daughter's rapist.
Oh yeah, now I remember that.
Oh yeah, that's the one where it's like, oh, you're in trial for murder. Okay, that's nice. Oh, that's what you're on trial for murder for. Yeah, because my vote.
Because they're all trying to say like alleged, suspected. And I'm like, yeah, that's a bunch of bull. So yeah.
I know what you mean, Atmos. It's just that, it's not so much the specific language in and of itself. It's just that the people who actually wrote the code that they're using, they may or may not actually have replacements. I've actually had to deal with stuff like that in the past. Ugh.
But yeah, I just was laughing at this when I first was talking about it. Like, yeah, his daughter was sexually assaulted. The man murders. Nope. Let me rephrase that, because he doesn't murder him. He righteously kills the man because anyone who, because I'm in the alignment that anyone who does this to a child or anyone underage deserves the wood chipper or worse.
Oh, come on. Underage, of age, doesn't matter. Rape is punishable by execution.
Yep.
That's what God's law says.
True. I was referring to in regards to minors in this case. But yeah, the guy, and I guess the police officers were trying to get him put away for it, and the guy was basically like, okay, instead, since I'm not convicted of this yet, I'm going to run to be the sheriff. Because the only way he can be barred from holding an office position is if he is actually like convicted, and he has yet to be convicted.
In a just world, if he did get convicted of murder and that bars him from running for sheriff, the people will start hanging county officials until he's out of jail and becoming the sheriff.
Yeah, because he won the primary. He won the Republican primary for the position. He's supposed to be going on trial June 22nd. The election for that position against the Democrat nominee is going to be in November. So he has to try. So they have to try to find some way for him to not get convicted before the election.
You know what? If a Democrat did get elected, he needs to be let go. They don't jail people that do violent crimes. Oh wait, the guy's white. Never mind.
But then again, he is white. So
again, he's white.
But yeah, I'm just like, I was thinking like, I thought he became like a House representative or something was what I had thought I heard originally. But no, he's running to be county sheriff of Lano County. But yeah, I've been seeing this a lot lately though, of people just righteously killing pedophiles and rapists. I've been seeing a lot of those stories lately. And all I can say is, good for them. We need more of that.
Well, see, here's the thing. You remember that Irina Zaretsky thing?
Oh yeah,
that Ukrainian refugee who came to the U.S. because she, there's a war in Ukraine and stuff, and got stabbed to death by some drugged out asshole who should have been executed years ago for his crimes, but somehow.
46 federal crimes, but kept getting released.
He was arrested like 13 or 14 times.
He had several dozen felony counts. Most of them weren't actually violent felonies. Several of them, however, were actually, killing people, as I understand it. Why the hell was this guy on the streets?
Because they had a Democrat judge that kept releasing him.
No. And that's like, there is no moral justification. That's what I was getting at. It's just like, there's like no reason to have this guy out on the streets, and yet he's here killing people.
Because socioeconomic situations.
As one person put it, anarcho-tyranny. The people in government make it so that you have to rely on the government for every aspect of your daily life, but they rig things so that you are functionally helpless to actually do anything in your daily life without them.
Yeah, and they just keep letting all this stuff happen so to stoke fear within you, so you give them more and more power until there's nothing left to give them.
Yeah.
Oh. Yep. Well, I mean, I'm honestly out of topics to talk about now at this point. Was there anything you guys wanted to talk about or bring up?
One of them was actually something that we kind of sort of vaguely touched on earlier, and it's a social thing that I find myself bewildered by until I realize that the people pushing it, like they're people who are really pushing it, not just the people who are kind of sort of playing along with it, but the people who are actually pushing it are evil assholes who want everyone to burn. And this is the whole idea that your feelings actually matter in the scope of the law. It's just like one of those things. It's like there's the reason why there's the whole like fighting words thing from back in the day, but also that's something that only applied when people were being, belligerent about it, and not just like, oh, you said something I didn't like. No. But nowadays, people are actually trying to go with the approach of you disagreed with me, you hurt my feelings, and words are violence.
I hate that phrase so much.
And I say the same thing to those people. It's like, oh, you hurt my feelings. I don't care.
You hurt my brain because you lack intellect.
It's like I am autistically blunt and honest to a fault. I will fucking hurt your feelings all day, every day, with whatever I fucking say.
Well, but yeah, it's like it kind of goes into the whole like anarcho tyranny thing again because of the fact that you're training people to react to everyday life as if everyday life is just there for their amusement. It's like people who just like don't know how to deal with it when someone makes a minor comment about how they didn't like something, and then they just suddenly like snap at them as if it was a mortal insult. And it's like, all I said was I didn't. Okay. Here's a real world example. A few weeks ago, I was eating some scrambled eggs, and I asked why they had a weird texture. And the person who made them acted like it was an intentional insult specifically directed at him. It's like, I asked why the eggs had a weird texture. I didn't say I hated them. I didn't even say disliked them. I asked why they had a weird texture.
I just noticed something interesting. I just wanted an answer.
And
Yeah, exactly.
it gets treated like an insult solely because of the fact that the person who made them is thinking solely based on his fifis and is expecting positive reinforcement solely because he did something. And
I think
I cannot take people like that seriously. I just can't.
you really can't. But with all this being said, I think we're forgetting like one very important thing.
What are we forgetting?
What does the doomsday clock say?
That's a very good question. I completely forgot that. I completely forgot that that's a thing. Let me look it up.
You're not
here's
really
the thing.
missing much.
Like realistically, the concept of the doomsday clock. If Iran has nukes, it's ticking faster.
As of January 27th, 2026, the bulletin of the atomic scientists set the doomsday clock at 85 seconds. This represents the closest the clock has ever been to the symbolic midnight of global catastrophe. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry.
Like,
Of global catastrophe,
No, you
highlighting extreme dangers from nuclear risk, climate change, disruptive AI, and biological threats.
You know, I think a lot more people would take the doomsday clock seriously if we at least have a frame of reference of what the unit of measurement means.
It doesn't. That's the whole thing. It was a PR stunt that never had any real validity.
It's like we're 85 seconds to midnight, the closest we've ever been to global catastrophe and doomsday. It's like, okay, well, what does 1 second entail?
It doesn't. Like, I wish I was kidding about that, but it doesn't.
It does.
It never had any real anything to it.
If you don't have a unit of like a set unit of measurement for your day, it's just worthless. You're just giving an opinion.
The whole point of it was fear mongering. It was anti-nuclear war fear mongering that has been around for decades at this point. It's been around so long that a lot of the people don't even know why it was created. In fact, some of them might take it seriously because it's so old. But
it's at this point, it's just like the groundhog situation where people still take that seriously, even though it doesn't really have an effect on anything.
Never did.
At most, doomsday clock is faking gay. Like so many other things.
Oh, you know what? So something I was actually thinking about making a YouTube video on, but if I could discuss it with you guys for a short time. And this actually has a TTRPG aspect to it, but it also has to do with people's perception of reality. Have you heard of the Winchester Mystery House?
I'm not familiar.
I don't think so.
Okay, what it is that the person who made the Winchester Firearms Company got married. After he died, his wife and their
Oh,
children
okay.
were
Yeah,
built
now I know.
built this house that is in this very weird configuration today, and the
Yeah, it
people
has
who
like weird stuff. Like it has like rooms that have nothing in it, doors that go nowhere, staircases that lead to solid walls or just outside.
well, okay, it's like the popular culture version of that is kind of the focus of this line of discussion is that the reality is that most of the kooky stuff about that is actually just made up by the people who currently own the house.
Yeah.
They're not descendants of the person who built it. They don't actually know anything about the person who built it other than a handful of newspaper clippings. And they have methodically avoided talking to the descendants of the woman who built it because of the fact that they don't care about reality. Like
Hmm.
you mentioned, the whole thing is like one that people like to point out is doors that lead to nowhere.
Hmm.
Well, here's the thing. Part of the reason for the architectural oddities in the Winchester house are because it was badly damaged in a major earthquake.
Right.
They were not fully repaired in some cases. They just wanted to like shore up the place to make it so that it was structurally stable. And also, the lady who was the lead architect on the place was too infirm at that point in her life to actually like seriously want to like take care of it herself. So she was basically just like telling her staff to fix it to the best of their ability. And in some cases they did things that were
Not
questionable choices.
not very sensical.
Well, okay, she kind of like told them to like a minimalistic approach to it. Like she didn't want to just like rebuild everything. She just wanted to like mostly leave it the way it was. Because like at one point in time, that was a 7-story building.
Yeah.
7. Um, everything above the third floor collapsed in the earthquake. And like, well, one of the most famous pictures is this door that just like leads to a 15-foot drop to the ground. Which the reason for that is that there used to be a balcony there. You would think that after they did their initial efforts to, shore up the house to make sure it wouldn't collapse further after the earthquake, they would have eventually gotten around to rebuilding the balcony, but they didn't. Probably because the lead architect of the house was Miss Winchester, who at that point in her life was kind of done with the whole thing. It's like
Just
the,
couldn't be
the
bothered.
the reality of the reason why the house has such a long construction history and so many revisions and changes is that the woman who owned the place grew up as an architecture aficionado, and when her husband died, he left her with blue chip stocks that would give her a large enough amount of money that she was set for life. She didn't need to work in her life ever again.
Just
And
do whatever she wants.
so she used her money to employ however many workmen to build this lavish estate that was, prior to the earthquake, eccentric and interesting, but nothing that people considered to be off the deep end. After the
Nothing
earth
that will capture any long term interest.
After the earthquake, you will see things like that whole like staircase where there's just a solid floor above the staircase. That's because of earthquake damage. That particular staircase, they just decided they didn't need it anymore and just I think prior to it being acquired by its current owners, that staircase basically just had a sign saying "Do not use"
Yeah,
because like they just
I think if
decided.
I was old enough and I spent years turning my own house into basically a passion project of architecture because I just had infinite money, then an earthquake happened and ruined years and years of work, I'd be like, okay, yeah, I'm done with this too.
Yeah. So like certain parts of it, I can definitely see why people would be like, I get where you're going, but that was dumb. But that's one of those like small details, not the big picture of it. Because like I said, that used to be a 7-story building. Everything above the third floor collapsed. They had a lot of work to do to fix things.
I was gonna remind you because like earlier this morning, um, well, not this morning, last night, I watched the latest episode of the Amazing Digital Circus, and then I watched a guy's reaction to that episode, and he like I had to skip through most of it because he kept going on tangents about all these theories that he had, and I was hearing him like, where the fuck did you get any of that from the subtext of the show? What are you talking about?
That is actually a thing I've seen with quite a few of the more esoteric TV shows is that they will sometimes just completely go off the deep end. Mm, speculating. Yeah. Let's be nice and call it speculating, because of the fact that they have pet theories. They want the pet theories to be true, and they don't really have any evidence.
It's
Ugh.
like I'd like to believe that I myself am like capable of picking up subtext and be able to, for the most part, come up with theories on media and have them be, if not completely true, at least accurate enough to be kind of close to what the artist originally
At,
intended.
at the very least, plausible.
Yeah, and like I was one of the first people that had the idea. Like, this is going to get into spoilers, I guess, but
Not that
like
I actually care.
I had the idea that the characters weren't actually people, but rather copies of mental mapping of the people that put on the like the headsets that put them into the program. And then yeah,
Hmm.
come to find out, Kane said that they were mind files; they were not actually people. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. But then like the guy still kept thinking that they were still people trying, and there was a way of getting out. I'm like, no, Kang just said that they are files. They're copies. They're not people.
Again, this is one of those things where it's like people have their like pet opinions that 'cause, this is a thing that I've actually seen come up in a lot of pop culture. Is like people have their own like personal like twist, they opinion on things, and they've decided that they value their personal headcanon more than the reality,
Mhm.
which gets even worse when people take that approach towards things that aren't pop culture.
Mm.
Unfortunately, I've seen that in recent years a few times, but hey, you know.
Yeah, something I remember, I forgot I shared this earlier on here, but something that I saw someone share about in regards going back to the whole Afro Man thing. They said potentially a hot take, but Afro Man's victory against police corruption is more inspiring than any POC or minority story pushed on us by Hollywood in the last 6+ years.
That's because the
Yeah,
fact that the recent Hollywood fair is little more than what's the best way to put this? Pandering.
exploitation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like black exploitation, but they're trying to make it mainstream and not a niche thing.
Yeah, they're all probably calling Afro. Anyone in Hollywood that knows Afro Man is probably calling him an Uncle Tom behind his back more than anything, since he's not a black that aligns with their own beliefs.
Actually, that's just it. Is that it, when you actually look at that stuff, they're not even actually supporting black people. They're just using it as a way to force black people to obey them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the majority of abortion clinics are planted in like black majority like communities,
Well, I
and
mean,
black babies are the
mean-
highest abortions.
the woman that came up with the idea of the abortion clinic for Planned Parenthood said that it was to curtail black populations.
Mm-hmm. That's one thing they won't admit was how racist. What was it, Margaret Sanger?
I think
That who
that's what it
was?
was. Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, a lot of these suffragettes were incredibly racist.
Mm-hmm.
Like they tested the fact that a black man was able to vote, but they couldn't.
I'm trying to remember what was the story where it was like a woman falsely accused a black man was falsely accused of rape, but it was like this Jewish guy, and the KKK was like, we know he didn't do it, but we know you did it. So they actually KKK came to the defense of the black man.
The case of Frankie that was the foundation of the ADL.
Yeah, I was just thinking like, wow, that's
every
crazy.
year on the anniversary of Frankie's lynching, they do like a thing, and everyone's like, no. But they say that Frankie was like wrongly lynched for raping a girl when the black man did it, and it was like, no, that's not what happened. It's like the only time I see the entirety of the internet actually come together in unity, just to dunk on the ADL and Frankie.
Oh well, I mean, I think that's all we got for today. So I don't have much of anything else to talk about. Like again, a lot of it's just been a lot of the same topic stuff over and over again lately.
And the thing with the Winchester Mystery House, like that's just like a broad concept, is the whole idea that perception is to the popular understanding of something more important than reality, because of the fact that house, all most people know about it is what the current owners have said about it.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know the actual history of the house. They won't bother looking it up. All they know is that the current owners said that it was weird, and that its owner was a nutcase, and that it's probably haunted because of the fact that its owner was building it because she was plagued by ghosts or something. When in reality, none of that was true. The owner actually had no phobias of ghosts at all, and never even considered the idea. The reason why she built such a large, elaborate building was because she liked architecture.
Yeah.
Yep.
I guess want to end it on a funny note. There is that thing I posted in the group chat where Vladimir Putin, the leader of Russia, says he doesn't fear the United Kingdom because they can't even stop rubber boats invading their country or foreigners raping their women and kids.
Yep.
And he also said the British people hate their leader.
Yeah, also true.
Yep.
Like, I'm struggling to find another country that's more cucked than Great Britain, outside maybe Canada.
Mm-hmm. All right, so Duskwall, where can everyone find you at?
They can find me on X at Duskquill_team. Dusk_team, yeah. And they can also find me sometimes doing stuff with the Mythleverse comic book project, either on X at the Mythleverse or on their YouTube channel, Mythleverse Publishing.
All right, Mar Hockman, where can everyone find you at?
I rather regularly post videos to YouTube, sometimes stream to either YouTube, Twitch, or Kick, and often post things on X.
And of course, we got a spammer in the chat already. So I don't know if I can. Oh yes, I can. Yep, add the block list. Yep. There we go. Got him. So yeah, just try to one of those Rumble like you can get more followers kind of things. Yeah, it's stupid.
Bug squashed.
But as always, you can find me on X, Rumble, and YouTube under the Ultra American TTRPGer, aka Ultra or at Ultra TTRPGER, where now that I'm finally kind of somewhat better, I'm like 95% better than I was like 3 weeks ago now. Still kind of recovering a little bit. I'm just watching what I do so I don't throw my back out at 33. So, yep. So going back to the regular, probably I'm probably going to start doing like, because again my internet with the hotspot is still kind of wonky do here and there. I'll probably start doing some more recorded content to be released on Fridays, and then we still got the Saturday morning stream, which hopefully next week, and we'll have everyone returning for the next session of Flushed Out. Figure out what you all are going to be doing next. So yeah, hopefully Roland Dunkster will make his grand return as he comes out of like the toilet with a bag of shit. All right. Well, go ahead. What were we going to say?
I was going to start saying goodbye.
Yep. Thank you all for joining us again today on Saturday morning. Have a good weekend. Roll some dice. Have fun and be safe.
You all have a good one.
And remember,